This is what hubris and stupidity looks like. 4 shots of espresso and a latte, and 2 scoops of pre-workout, and a chimichanga before work. It is Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. Welcome to the vlog. My name is Randy. You can call me Miranda. You can call me Darq. Depends on what corner of the internet you've met me from, I suppose. I'm like a cat. I answer to just about anything. But we're going to wrap up all of August in one little vlog. I was planning on filming clips all month, and life just happened, as life tends to happen. So right now I am having my not very nutritious but unfortunately heavily caffeinated and electrolyte filled lunch before work. I have 5 appointments today, and the first 3 are very heavily muscled men who need elbows for like the whole thing. So I have to prepare my body calorically and rest-wise to be able to handle that and not be doubled over in pain by the end of a shift, because sometimes that's how it goes, and that's all magic comes with a price. And when you're helping somebody's body figure out how to heal itself, it feels like magic sometimes. But anyway, so lots and lots of things have been happening, and I am off work tomorrow. So I might do another check-in clip later this evening. We will see how I feel after work, and if not, I will definitely wrap all of this up tomorrow and explain and show off all of the things that have been going on and what's going on going forward. So we're just going to ignore the fact that clearly my desk gets used a lot, because it is never aesthetic and spotless and minimalist, and that is fine. If you work a lot at your desk, it's not always going to be completely cleared off. Have I cleared it off twice this week? Yes, but it is getting used a lot. So it's not sparkling, and that's okay. It is now August 28th, which is Wednesday, my day off. I have been doing a lot of things and thinking about a lot of things, and writing down a lot of notes about what I wanted to say in this video is also part of the many, many things that's on my list of stuff today. This isn't all going to be in a cohesive order that makes sense. This was just kind of stream of consciousness, writing down notes, and I'm going to ramble beyond the notes. So this is probably going to be a long one, and you might want to grab something to drink and maybe a snack, or get something to sketch, write with, whatever floats your boat. Knit or crochet if that's your thing. Get out some Papercrafts stuff if you want to just listen to me talk. We've already done the regular video intro, so you should know who I am by now, and if you don't, hi. My name is Randy. I write under the pen name Miranda K. Darq. You can call me Darq, you can call me Randy, you can call me Miranda. It doesn't really matter. Whatever works and is most copacetic and easy to remember for you. This book, which I'm dropping shit out of, has a lot of things in it, and I decided that today it is also going to be my note-taking for quasi-script, but not quite, because this is all just bullet list crap, maybe with a few complete sentences written in at some point. Long story short, and by long story short, I mean long story long, I have not made nearly as much writing progress this month as I planned to, but cooler heads prevailing and looking back on things, I realized that I have just now passed the 10K word mark on Love Like Cyanide, which, considering I started it at the beginning of the month and there was probably about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks straight, where I did not write a single word because life and work and kids have been so overwhelming. 10,000 words in a month is still nothing to sneeze at. So getting caught up in the numbers race, especially when you see other authors on social media. You're like, oh, well, they wrote like 60,000+ words this month and I only wrote 10. I'm a hack. I'm a horrible person. I'm lazy. Maybe I should quit. No. 10,000 words is perfectly fine. It is a good start. Would I like to do more next month? Yes. And I'm hoping to actually hit about 15 by the end of this month. That's the goal. So I have adjusted my expectations with that because I was hoping to bang out the entire first draft of that this month. And the approximately 60,000 words I have planned for it, it just not going to happen. In regards to the Infernalia Chronicles, which is the serial that I am writing, I have decided that rather than just pushing out the brain garbage that was the first season, and I don't know if anybody enjoyed it or not, because nobody who's on my ream comments on anything, so more on that in a minute. We'll get to that. Infernalia Chronicles is, we'll say PG-13 for now. I'm planning on not having any open door spice scenes in it. The gore might get a bit excessive at some points, so think like action movies and like things in the vein of the Underworld series from, early 2000s. And very heavily anime and horror inspired stuff, which I enjoy quite a bit, but I don't think it's going to be romance heavy. If there's romance in it at all, I feel like there's going to be some tension and some friction, but I don't think we're gonna do romance as a primary genre for this. If it's there at all, it's definitely secondary subplot type of deal. So I'm gonna rewrite the whole first season because a lot of that was notes from co-authoring kind of sorta a story with some friends on a message board forever and a day ago, and I feel like even though I've gone through and rewritten it all so it seems more cohesive, I can still see their voices more in the parts that were initially written by them. And I want to make sure that everything has better flow, and I want to work on some descriptions and the way I'm wording my prose a bit more. And then I'm going to expand on season 2. Oh, life is just all the noise outside the window. It's been quiet for hours, and because I'm recording now, it's just loud, and that's fine. I live in a city. It happens. I can't expect silence, and I can't wait for silence, or I'm never going to do shit. So, regarding Ream, which is where I have been posting at least a chapter every other week of something. For a good long clip there, I was doing at least one chapter every week, if not 2, of a whole bunch of things. It says I've got like 35 followers on there. Nobody ever comments on anything. The whole point of it was to kind of get some alpha feedback from people as I'm writing stuff so I can see if this is what people want to read. And I'm not getting any feedback at all. So I feel like it's another one of those things that I have on my plate that, although my one friend who pays for it monthly, because that's just the way he is very supportive of my writing journey in general. He comments on things when I talk to him outside of there, but nobody has any discussion in the community tab or anything. And I was just involved in this big Ream raid thing that was supposed to be massively, monstrously huge, except I was buried at the fucking bottom of the romance genre page next to something about a taboo relationship, and I'm pretty sure there was something directly in the title of another book right next to mine that definitely did not only imply butt stuff, which is fine if that's what you're into, but it's just, Ream is a platform that has made a safe space for the taboo authors who cannot post their stuff anywhere else, whether that's familial relation, shall we say, because I'm not sure how much I can say and not risk getting demonetized for saying so, but you get my meaning. In a consensual manner, but you know, all of the things that are in a trigger warning in a book. You can find them on Ream if you know how to find the people. Discoverability is something on that platform that they have been working on that I still don't feel is where it should be, because even with this Ream Raids thing, I got one follower that signed up that I don't think was actually related to the event. And there's been nothing else on it at all since. So, yeah. If you already have a huge audience and a big backlist, I feel like Ream is a good place for you, but I don't feel like Ream is the right fit for me right now. So probably after September, because I'm pretty sure that's when the 6-month sign up for the bottom paid tier runs out for the one person who won it from another completely useless cross promotion event that was in, I think it was February. I think it runs out at the end of this month. But anyway, I'm probably going to be ditching Ream. I'll still keep an account, but I don't think I'm going to have memberships open there anymore, and I'll just leave a few freebie things up for followers. I'm probably honestly going to be switching everything over to Substack. I like the layout of Substack better. It's more like a regular blog, but you can also post videos and audio stuff, and they allow adult content there. So the things that I won't be able to post to YouTube for audio of my books, I will probably be posting on my Substack, with the spicy spice things being behind a paywall just to keep under 18s out of it. I also recently, well, not recently, it's been ongoing for several months at this point, I made a mistake. My day job is physically hard, so I took the well-meaning advice from a lot of people to rest my body, to minimize my other obligations, cut back on the 9 billion things that I do in any given day, because that's just life. And I did so. But from doing so, I've let most of my side hustles kind of just slide, because I'm working more days at my day job. But even with me working more days, I'm getting so many more cancellations and no-shows that I don't get paid for, that I'm actually making less money than I was when I was only working 4 days a week. And because I still have to go to work 6 or 7 days a week, I am too physically worn down to be doing all this extra stuff. But I've let it slide long enough, and my money is dwindling quickly enough that I can't rest. I just can't. It's not a thing that is feasible for me to do at this juncture, which really sucks. My day job isn't enough. It just isn't. And I make like $30 an hour, you guys. And it's not enough. That is so insane to me. Like, what is this world we're in right now? For real. I'm over it. Dear programmer, please rewrite some code, because this is bullshit. By the end of 2024, I need to be making enough from all of my side work to go down to no more than 5 days a week at work. Because this idea of working not only 6 or 7 days a week, but sometimes for 9 to 11 days in a row, because I don't have consecutive days off, is too much. I can't keep doing it. I just can't. And I don't want to, is the other big issue. Long story short, I need the money from these side hustles, especially if they're going to replace my day job in the next 5 years, which is my long-term plan. Once my younger son, Killian, graduates from high school, which will be in 8 years, I am going to be a full-time creative. That's all there is to it. I'm tired of working for other people. I'm done. I'm over it. So going back to writing and things that I'm going to change going forward, because let's be honest, everything at this point is testing the scientific method. We come up with an idea, we try it, we see how it goes, we adjust and carry on with the experiment. When I launched my book, I did not have trigger warnings in Blood from Stone. They're just not my thing, personally. I understand why some people like them. I am not a fan of them personally. That is my preference. If you think that makes me a monster, then bye, there's the door. I'm not for you. Going forward, I'm not going to be putting trigger warnings in my books. I will still list them on my Substack and have a link to them, and that will be available for free on my Substack with any release going forward for people who do want them and people who do want to know. But I feel like putting a trigger warning in the front of the book and having somebody look at it and see a certain thing listed that they may feel a certain type of way about implies to them that mentioning it means it's a big part of the story. And it might not be. It might be barely mentioned. It might be hardly touched upon. It might not be nearly as horrific as you're thinking, but because I thought I was doing you a solid by mentioning it, you're now not even going to read it to see if you're okay with it or not. I feel like seeing it in a list at the beginning ramps up and magnifies the dread and expectation of said thing popping up at some point, like it's a jump scare, even if it's barely mentioned and not nearly as problematic as you might be thinking from the thing in the list. My books are written for adults. I don't write YA at this point. Basic standard may contain graphic violence and sexual situations is gonna cover my bases. If I even bother putting that in the book, I probably won't, because it's not YA. And if you can't get that from the blurb and the cover, okay, sounds like a skill issue. Because everything sales-wise, page reads, and review-wise totally tanked down to nothing, despite me still promoting after I put the trigger warning list in the book. I never put it in the paperback. I only put it in the digital version, so it was easy to change it to take it back out. But like I said, there is a link to it, hyperlink, right there in the front of the book, if that's the thing you need. And then I got a review, which I know everybody says, oh, reviews are for readers, they're not for authors. Yes and no. I'm still going to read reviews. I probably shouldn't, but I got a review that kind of misrepresents a lot of things in the story. And it's written in such a way that rather than somebody looking at it and going, oh, this person mentioned several times that this particular thing isn't for them, this particular thing isn't for them, they're going to take everything they said as fact instead of opinion because of the way it is written in an editorial style. Because of that, being one of the only 2 actual reviews on the book, I feel like that's also partly responsible for everything tanking. And no, I'm not saying that means the review should be taken down, but it would be really nice if some other people who've read the book would also leave reviews or ratings. Like, if you don't want to write a review, that's fine. If you want to leave a 1-star review and say, oh my god, masochist vampire who's into knife play was way too much for me, I had to nope and DNF, Cool beans. I could tell from the page reads that a lot of people got to that scene in particular and said, oh my, that's a bit much. That's too much for me. And the page read stopped. And that's fine. But I feel like there are some people who can acknowledge that this is, firstly, a fictional character, secondly, a paranormal entity, and therefore being totally into it should be fine. Because there's way worse things in dark romance books that are completely contemporary with no paranormal elements, and y'all eat it up. So maybe you need to ask yourselves why. That's okay. But that thing isn't. Banging someone the day you meet them is not insta-love. Saying the L word after 6 months is also not insta-love. Did you know that verbally reminding your uncertain paramour that you love them is LOL worthy? Neither did I. So enough ranting about that. If you made it through this part, congratulations! All of the stuff going forward is not going to be like that. I just had to get that off my chest. And now I feel much better and much lighter. So here we go. I am going to finish the Song of the Sangomar series, which Blood from Stone is the first book of, even though it feels dead in the water and like a complete waste of time now that's probably not going to go anywhere. It is 5 books and 1 novella at least, and I'm going to do it anyway because it's the book I wanted to read, and if nobody else likes it, okay, cool, more for me. To hell with y'all. Love Like Cyanide is the first book in the Lost in Their Rhythm series. That is my alpha, beta, omega, idol, rockstar series. That will be 7 short novels. It is primarily romance, and the books are going to be that they're interconnected, but they're not necessarily in a linear fashion timeline-wise, and each book is going to follow like a different member of the group and their coupleness with somebody else. But after the Lost in Their Rhythm series and Song of the Sangomar series are done, I think I'm gonna completely walk away from romance as the primary genre and go full on Kuntz and King with my style, which has always been my more natural style anyway. That being horror, urban fantasy is more the primary genre, and romance is secondary subplot stuff. Still there because, you know, interpersonal relationships exist even when horrific things are happening. On top of all of the writing stuff, I have been getting back into crafting with my hands, which has felt absolutely amazing. It is not yarn stuff, unfortunately, because I have not wanted to touch any of that yet. But I have been getting into paper crafting. I'm going to be launching an all-in-one new shop on September 13th, which will be Friday the 13th. I'm going to have journals, stickers, bookmarks, and I'm finally going to have signed paperback copies of Blood from Stone available if anybody even wants them at this point. So all that stuff will finally be available then. And I'm going to show you what I mean by some of the journals I've been making, and maybe some of the bookmarks too, since I have that stuff available nearby. So these are hidden paperclip bookmarks. If you are going to use them in a regular book, you would have to be careful, and with the nature of the things written on them, I would not say that you would want to use them on something with very thin pages like a Bible, and if you look at what it says, chances are you probably wouldn't want to use them in that context anyway. So it's got a little paper clip hidden inside here, and off the side if you wanted to use them as tabs to demarcate sections in a notebook or something, Works like a regular bookmark. If you wanted to use it like along the top here, there we go. But I made some of those just for the heck of it. Some of them say smut, some of them say love for people who want to be a little more discreet. But just getting my hands covered in glue and playing with paper and ink and stuff is so much fun. Seriously, if you are somebody who likes to make things and you have not made things with your hands in quite some time, you should. It was amazing, honestly. I have recently found the online world of traveler's notebooks, and I'm going to have some covers available, but also I have been making the inserts. These ones in particular are the standard traveler's notebook size. A bunch of these are just blank paper. These ones are the thicker ones, and they have 16 sheets and 32 pages plus the covers. And then the rest of them that I was experimenting with different things like paper type. This one has craft paper in it, so the paper's all just brown. I'm going to have some things that are lined, some things that have dots like a bullet journal. These ones, I think I did 10 sheets in these ones. And like I said, I just had a bunch of scrapbook paper pads hanging around, and I have ungodly quantities of reams of paper, so I was like, why not? Why not make use of them? A girl could always use more notebooks. Always. Oh, and then these even smaller ones. These are 16 pages, so if you wanted to use these for more of a scrapbooking thing, they would be better for that. But the ones with more pages are better for actual writing or sketching, whatever floats your boat. And then, because I had much smaller paper pads, I made all these really itty bitty little ones, and I'm going to make some cute little laminated covers, but these are all from a fall Halloween themed paper pad that I had. Little ghosts, pumpkins, haunted houses, skeletons, more skeletons, spider webs, purple and black stripes, jack-o'-lanterns. And if you aren't familiar with traveler's notebooks, well, eventually, in the next couple of weeks, I will have a few of them made up cover-wise with all the elastics and stuff. Essentially, it's a notebook where you can put these into it and take them out as you need, add more as you need, whatever works for you. Extremely customizable, and I have a good printer, so once I run out of scrapbook paper, I'll be able to actually make my own paper to make the covers. And this is me experimenting more with different things, but this is going to be the first one that I am using for me. It's got some washi tape, some stamps, a sticker that says the coffee. And I found this really awesome rubber stamp that looks like it's a screen for an old iPod. And you get to write down what you're listening to, and since I've been listening to Stray Kids on repeat, especially Jam, it only made sense to put it there. But you also will have noticed from me waving it around the whole time, because I grew up in New York and I talk with my hands a lot, that I actually took and wrapped a whole bunch of washi tape around this RSVP pen, and this one actually writes in red ink, because sometimes I just want it to look like I bled all over the page, because sometimes that's how things feel. You know? That's how it goes sometimes. So, that is all of the paper crafting updates. So be on the lookout for a shop update, and I'm going to be moving everything from Etsy to a Shopify store at least for the next year to give it a try. The fee increase, and now Etsy saying that you can't have anything that has even remotely adult content in it. It's like, so because I write paranormal romance, you're trying to tell me that I shouldn't be able to sell my signed paperbacks on Etsy? Okay, bro. So other things that I'm working on top of all of those things. So again, like I said, I have been letting all of my side hustles slide, and I can't do that. I need all of these things to be having those little trickles of money coming in so I can be breaking even, not constantly trying to dig myself out of a hole that just seems to keep backfilling behind me and burying me the more I try to crawl out of it. Because of that, I am diving back into audio stuff more. I'm not quite sure what sorts of things I'm going to be putting on my audio channel. I'm probably just going to be doing regular story narrations there, mostly public domain stuff, because another creator that I talk with on Twitter just had his channel. He has a temporary posting ban for 2 weeks. I don't know if somebody is just rage reporting everything he makes or if somebody has got it out for him. But he can't post anything at all for 2 weeks. Everything is completely demonetized on his channel for that time. He has to take a class that agrees to comply with the community standards going forward, all because somebody said that his content contained sexual yawning. Let that sink in for a minute. Sexual yawning. Yeah. That was my thought too. So, do not have to worry about potentially getting shut down by YouTube. I might post a chapter or two before things get spicy with Love Like Cyanide on my audio channel just to see how it goes. But I am definitely going to be posting that stuff to Substack. And my Substack is free right now. Like I said, if you want to get the spicy things, then those particular chapters will be behind like a $5 paywall just to, not have to worry about minors getting into it. Although honestly, let's take a moment and be perfectly transparent and truthful. If they really want to, there's nothing you can do to stop those minors from accessing that stuff. I was 13 years old when I bought the entire Sleeping Beauty trilogy by Anne Rice. And if you have never read those books, you probably don't want to. But the content is definitely not something that the average 13-year-old should be reading. But by the same token, I don't believe in censorship, and I do not feel like I was abused or neglected when I purchased those things. And I was reading, like, Stephen King when I was 12, too, so I don't know. Where there's a will, there's a way. But you, as a creator, should still take steps to protect yourself. We'll put it that way. If they're really bound and determined, they're going to find a way anyway. But CYA, for sure. So since I'm also diving back into audio things, and actually I am one of the main characters in a series that is written and will have a bunch of other horror narrators in it that's going to be on Dark Little Voices channel, and they are a married couple that do spooky stuff. And I think they actually wrote this series. I think they said it was 23 or 27 chapters, so it's pretty much like a book. It has a whole bunch of different voices in it, but I've been forcing myself to record those things to kind of get myself back into it. And I've been debating back and forth about trying to find other voices to collab with for reading my books. But like with Blood from Stone, there's easily 12 main voices that get used a lot. And I don't have the time to edit that shit. Ain't nobody got time for that. So, as cool as it would be to have a whole bunch of super sultry, saucy, spicy dude voices in my audiobook, I don't have the patience. And if I was going to ask people to do that with me, I would also pay them to do so. I understand that with a lot of people who are just starting out on YouTube and stuff, when somebody asks you to collab, you know you're not going to get jack for payment. It's payment and exposure, which is fine. If I didn't want to do it, I would just say, no, thank you, I don't have time right now, so that doesn't bother me. But if I was going to have it be in something where I was going to be definitely directly monetarily benefiting from it, like an audiobook, I would be paying all of the other voice actors. And that would be crazy expensive. So I'm probably just going to read it myself because I do have pretty decent semi-pro microphone setup. Also thanks to a friend. I'm just going to have to sleep less to get ahead financially, to get to where I need to be, to get to where I want to be in 5 years' time. I just have to suck it up. Resting has gotten me nothing but behind and even more stressed out. So bring on the caffeine. Here's to creativity. And remember, we are all works in progress. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys all in the next one, which is probably going to be a book review video. Take care, everyone.